Well, we continue our coverage of election 2024. It is a D-Day, and many people will be going to various polling stations, including the president of the country, who's also the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, who is amongst the 27 million South Africans casting their votes today. Ramaphosa will cast his vote at Chiawelo in Soweto at around 10 o'clock later this morning. Our reporter Juniour Khumalo is at the Hitekani Primary School in Chiawelo and joins us now. It is Junior. Junior, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Tell us about the activity outside that voting station. And of course, this is where the president of the country, who's also the president of the ANC, will be casting his ballot. I can only imagine when it comes to security, the hive of activity there.
Indeed, Aldrin. It's a hive of activity here at Hitekani Primary School, where the president is expected to cast his vote. I'll just try and step out of picture just so that my colleague Utolani will just show you the media contingent that is here taking videos of all of these people that are already queued up here. In this voting station, there are about 3,896 individuals that are registered to vote at this Hitekani Primary School here in Chiawelo, Soweto. Most of them have been queuing here for quite a while, and they are being assisted by the voting staff. We do expect the president, as you have already indicated, that he is going to come here at 10 o'clock. And just outside this voting stations, a lot of parties, the ANC, the EFF, have actually pitched their gazebos. They are waiting for their party leaders who are going to be casting their votes here. But I do have with me one resident who's actually already cast her vote in this voting station, Hitekani Primary. Thank you so much, Sisi, for joining me. How was the voting process for you?
It was so simple. Yeah, it was so simple. It wasn't difficult because already I applied for the special vote. Yeah, so I voted yesterday.
And the 3 ballots, did you get any assistance from the IEC officials that are here?
Yes, they did assist me. I've got assistance from them. They did help me very much.
A lot of people are saying this is an important election for South Africa. They are saying that a lot of South Africans should come out and vote in their numbers. Why is it important for yourself to come out and vote?
Because I want change, and we want free, fair elections. So we are hoping for change. Because it's like at the age of 32, unemployed, still young, no qualifications. I'm always shading like it's a service delivery. Like it's expected there's ningla election. Tina futhi mina sengikhulumela youth. Efana nami ekule age mina ngiguyo because it's now my qualification but imisebenzi asitholi. So mangizovota la, I'm here to make a change, not for my own self but for other youth.
Thank you so much, sis. That is Hitekani Maluleke, one of the residents here in Soweto, Chiawelo, who came here to vote. She says she cast her vote 2 days ago. That was Monday. So she had applied for special vote, which happened over the past 2 days. But it's a different scenario. For those who were here in 2021, there were a lot of protests actually outside in Soweto, with a lot of residents unhappy about the load shedding situation that had happened. But some of them also had no transformers. But we know that this situation has since changed this time around, with the current Premier Panyaza Lesufi going around in most of these areas in Chiawelo, in other parts of Soweto, putting back those transformers. And today we haven't seen any protests outside, but we are going to keep you updated as time goes, with the president expected to cast his vote at 10 o'clock, Aldrin.
Juniour Khumalo there joining us from Chiawelo in Soweto. And from Soweto, we now go back to Gqeberha. This is in the Eastern Cape, where Malungelo Boy is standing by. But earlier on, he told us about residents who are blockading roads and also have tried to prevent the IEC officials from opening the Wolf Primary School voting station. Let's get an update now from him. Malungelo, once again, a very good morning to you. We spoke to Masiko Shiburi a bit earlier on from the IEC. He says that they've taken a decision to pull out some of the IEC staff members that have been deployed at the Wolf Primary School, especially those who live in the area. What can you tell us about what's currently happening?
Aldrin, what we've been seeing over the past 20 minutes or so, we saw a lot of police officers being brought in here to sort of like reinforce the police officers that were already here to make sure really that the people who want to vote in this particular voting station are able to do so. But here's what you see. If you move around this entire village, it's called Lower Zinguga village here in Keiskamazuk, you'll also just see that residents have essentially just been burning, tires and have also placed rocks on the road. And you can see that there's these massive rocks that have been placed right at the entrance of this voting station. I need to tell you more, Aldrin, about this voting station. There's about 305 people that are supposed to vote here. And as things stand, it just does not look like they'll be voting at all. You can see some of the community members from this village that essentially are protesting over the land claim issue, saying that their land claim, which dates back to about 2008 or even way back before then, has essentially not been dealt with or addressed by officials. That's why then they've decided to take this drastic action and not take part in these elections. When I was talking to one of the community leaders earlier, Aldrin, saying that, well, they're going to allow the IEC to open the voting station, but what is not going to happen is that no one will actually from this village will be participating in these elections. But I also think it's important for me, Aldrin, to tell you that one of the things that we understand about this land claim is that it involves about over 100 families that had actually lodged this land claim 28 years ago. And some of these families were apparently going to receive R500,000 each. And these residents are saying that, well, a lot of promises have been made, but none of those promises have been fulfilled. That's why then they've essentially taken this massive decision, this drastic decision to withhold their participation in this election until they say an official from the Lands Claim Commission or the Land Affairs Department to essentially just come and address them. As you can see, some of the residents that are actually taking part in this protest. Here's a voting station just a few meters away from them, and they are singing, and they're actually quite resolute, Aldrin, that they are not taking part in this election whatsoever.
Well, if you just heard there what Malaika's argument is there in terms of a political analysis, that this is also a political statement being made by those residents of Kamakishoek in the Eastern Cape. Let's now stay in the Eastern Cape. We're now going to speak to our reporter, Gqeberha, who's joining us from Summerstrand in Gqeberha, where there is a voting station at a high school. Sipa, tell us about the queuing lines there, but are there any concerns that have been raised this morning?
Well, Eldrin, there's been a delay here at this voting station at Cape Receive High School. Now, the delay is due to unsealed ballot boxes being delivered. Now, we know that for quite some time, just over 30 minutes, the party agents and IEC officials and some police officers were inside the voting hall where voting is going to take place for those with surnames coming from A to M. And then on my other side, of course, it's those that have surnames going from N onwards all the way to Z. But the issue here at hand at this particular voting station, Aldrin, in Summerstrand at Ward 1, was that unsealed boxes were delivered to this voting station. Now, party agents, IEC officials, they went in for a meeting and obviously going over those ballot boxes and papers to see if they were marked or they were clean. Now, that's what usually happens in such instances where a seal is broken off. The party agents, together with the IEC officials, have to go through the ballot boxes and the papers to see whether or not they're clean and unmarked. And after 40 minutes or so, the gate was open for the voters to come in. So discussion was had between the various parties as well as the IEC officials, and everyone was happy regarding the papers. So now they've decided to actually open up the voting station. Now, Aldrin, 6,508 voters are awaited at this particular voting station. Now, Ward 1 is known to be one of those with a high voter turnout. Now, of course, the delay has been a problem for some people waiting in this line, and one of those people is a student, or a group of them rather, architect student who doesn't have time to waste but has been patiently waiting for his turn. Also, a first-time voter, Aldrin. We've got Anele Sokomani here. Now, Anele, you've been waiting for this moment, and there have been delays.
I've been waiting, honestly. It's actually my first time voting. I know I even got here before 6 because I thought it was, okay, they open at 7. I'm just going to be in and out. I should be done maybe around 7:30 or 8. But then due to the delay, now I'm still here waiting. I think I'm quite far. I might leave at 9 at this point. And the thing that's making me panic is that I have literally like a submission I have to submit at 11 a.m. So the delay is quite stressing me out. But then I'm not trying to think about that. Don't worry. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Anele. That's Anele Sokomani, a student from NMMU, an architect student, saying that he's worried about his submissions because of the delays that have happened here. But other than that, Aldrin, voting is going rather smoothly. As you can see, there's quite a high voter turnout. This area, Ward 1 and Ward 2, which links Summerstrand, South End, Forest Hill, those areas are known for high voter turnout in the Nelson Mandela Bay.
Well, thank you so much for that. And of course, Anele forms part of a voter contingent that makes up 42% of those who are on the voters roll between the ages of 18 to 39 years old. 42%, 11.7 million. And remember that this year we have a record high number of voters who have registered to participate in these elections, over 27 million. However, though, there's a province that hasn't had such a good turnout when it comes to the elections. And we've seen with the special votes that have been cast over the past 2 days, specifically in the Northern Cape. We now go to Zola Sholana, who's covering that province for us this morning. Zola, the IEC not so impressed with the low voter turnout during special votes, but this time around they hope that on election day the voter turnout would increase.
Well, what I can tell you, Aldrin, is that, of course, the voter turnout during special votes was not so great, especially on the first day, although we saw a bit of an improvement yesterday with more people coming out. Today, the IEC is hoping for bigger numbers, as we are expecting over 600,000 voters to make their way to different voting stations. But what I can tell you is that they understand what this could possibly come up with, considering the fact that there are new party formations in this particular town, and there could be possible disruptions, and we are told that they are ready for anything that could possibly come. As you'd understand, Aldrin, that it's been quite peaceful for the past 2 days, with no incidents of disruptions that have been reported. Only an incident where IEC officials got to a voting station and forgot ballot boxes, so that became a bit of a problem. But we will speak to Bonola Modise, who's going to be telling us about their readiness for today. So thank you very much for your time. Of course, you understand that the special votes didn't look so good in terms of the numbers. You are anticipating bigger numbers today. Are your people ready? Are we not going to experience an incident similar to what happened yesterday, where officials opened a voting station with no ballot boxes?
Well, I think there must be an appreciation of the fact that there isn't total control that we have when it comes to special votes. We make sure that those who have applied for special votes at home, we visit. Sometimes we don't find them at home. We also open stations where people made applications to vote at stations. Some of them don't come. So it's a very difficult situation for us, but we continue encouraging them to stay at home and to visit stations. Today, we've opened all our stations. So those who could not vote either on Monday or on Tuesday are given an opportunity today. It's off to a good start. There have not been any incidents reported where we open stations late or where access to stations has been blocked. And we can only hope that the day will continue as it started.
Are you perhaps not anticipating interference from perhaps political parties, as you'd understand that there are more party formations now compared to the other years? Are you ready in terms of such?
We're ready. We actually had a meeting yesterday with all parties at which we agreed that it's necessary that we all work together to ensure that South Africans are given this opportunity to express their views. Parties are stationed here at the Results Operation Center, so if there are any indications of disturbances out there through their own members, we will quickly convene a meeting to ensure that they go out and sort that matter out. But we also have conflict panelists who we've deployed throughout the province, who are also a resource to us to ensure that we deal with the difficulties we could possibly experience.
Are you confident that the teams that have been deployed in different voting stations will be able, to get everyone to vote by the end of the day, which is obviously closing time?
Well, if it happens that at 9 there are still people queuing, we'll make sure that those who are within the perimeter of the voting stations are attended to. So we are ready to deal with all the 655,000 that are registered. Well, obviously all of them will not come, but we are hoping that as many as possible will come. We're ready. We've trained electoral officers, and we're confident that they will be able to assist us in making sure that people's voices are heard.
Thank you very much, Bonolo Modise from the IEC. Well, Aldrin, this is a province where the African National Congress obtained over 57%, which was the majority in the last election, followed by the Democratic Alliance and all other political parties. With other party formations like the MK Party, we don't know how the numbers will be looking like in terms of voters. Earlier on, as you'd understand, that we drove around on the first day just to get to interact with residents and find out how they feel about the state of their city, which is Kimberley, a diamond city that has lost its shine, as most of them say. And you might have heard one of the voters on the first day of special votes saying that they want to see change. They want to see the diamond city retain its shine. And obviously that will be done if people come out in numbers and go cast their votes. Back to you in studio.
Zola Sholane there joining us from the Northern Cape. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning.